Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the CertiK Security Leaderboard Showcase. My name is Jesse, I'm your host for this series. As you all know, in this showcase, I host a project for a live AMA where we discuss their work with CertiK, the Security Leaderboard, their project, and we throw in some live questions from you, the viewers. Our goal is to raise the standard of security and transparency in all of Web3. The Security Leaderboard found at CertiK.com is a free tool to help you safely navigate the blockchain world. Today's featured project is Orion Protocol. Orion Protocol is well inside the top 100 projects on the Security Leaderboard and has an outstanding trust score of 95 out of 100. The platform has undergone a number of separate CertiK audits, and let's take a look at Orion's most recent audit report.
Auditing is a complicated and essential step in the security process. At CertiK, we review the top DeFi projects to help you better understand the findings from our experts. Orion Protocol is building the decentralized gateway to the digital asset market. The Layer 2 solution enables users access to deep, cross-chain liquidity in one place. This audit covers the Orion token on the Binance Smart Chain platform. The project summary describes the audit and the types of analyses used. Overview shows the programming language, the blockchain used, and a link to the project's codebase. The vulnerability summary lists issues that need resolution. The audit scope displays which contracts were audited. Findings highlight all issues and ranks them in terms of severity, from critical to discussion. In this audit, we found 0 critical, 0 major, 0 medium, 0 minor, and 1 informational issue. Orion Protocol has 1 issue pending. Visit CertiK.com for the full report.
So that's the audit report, which you can find at CertiK.com if you search Orion Protocol. And with that, I'd like to introduce our guest for today, Andrew from Orion.
Hello,
Hi,
Jesse.
Andrew. Great to have you on. How are you doing today?
Great to be on. Thanks a lot.
No worries. Looking forward to today's show. So tell us a little bit about Orion Protocol. What is it? When did it start? How did you get to where you are today?
So it's been built, I'd say from 2018, I think Alexei and Carl were building it from. It basically it's a decentralized liquidity aggregator. So whereas most people see centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges, rather than being separate or using one or the other, and they do have benefits to use one or the other. What Orion does is it brings together all of that liquidity into one place. So obviously most of the liquidity generally in crypto is based on the centralized exchanges, and
Right.
it aggregates all those together and it puts it into one order book, which you can use with your own wallet. So it really is like sort of taking crypto trading into the future by combining things rather than having them all sort of separated.
Right. So it's a Web3 native solution for accessing the liquidity that's often like siloed across different, you've got
Absolutely,
multiple
yeah.
dexes. Yeah. Okay, great. So what exactly differentiates Orion from centralized exchanges? Just give us an overview of like what a centralized exchange is, what a decentralized exchange is, and how Orion sort of aggregates the benefits of both.
Well, I'm sure people will know already, right? With obviously centralized exchanges, you have to give your data over for one. So you'll have to sign up for different accounts, and lots of people have different exchanges. So you've got to keep signing up to different accounts. You've got to keep giving over your data. You've got to keep each of the centralized exchanges basically holds people's funds. So once you deposit your funds onto the centralized exchange, in essence, they own your assets. You might have access to them, but really, they can really do as they please with them because you've entrusted it to them. So that's what obviously centralized exchanges are about. But what Orion does is pretty much Orion is a solution to different problems within the industry. So like liquidity, because we aggregate; accessibility, because on Orion you can it's global access, so you can access it anywhere in the world, and because you just connect your own wallet. Scalability, because rather than exchanges just keep adding tokens to their exchange, Orion adds the exchanges themselves. So
Right.
whereas one exchange, oh, we've only got a certain amount of tokens, that's all that's ever possible. But with Orion, we can keep adding various exchanges, which brings in more tokens, which adds sort of more liquidity to that, to the order book. Yeah, so with various sort of global restrictions for different centralized exchanges, Orion is based on transacting through smart contracts,
Mm-hmm.
which obviously is audited by CertiK,
Yep.
and we've got a great score for. So that allows for global access. You literally just connect your wallet and you can trade. So we're not going to take any account off you. We're not going to want any data or anything like that. You just connect the wallet and trade. It's as simple as that. And obviously
Right.
with decentralized exchanges, that kind of happens anyway. But again, in a lot of decentralized exchanges, there's hardly any liquidity there because the biggest liquidity is on the centralized exchanges, and
Yep.
each of those are fragmented themselves. So the difference is that Orion, it kind of puts them both together and brings out the best in them,
Mm-hmm.
because Orion combines that liquidity, and yet it lets you connect in a decentralized way. So you're not having to give information over, or it'll be restricted from just from where your house is, where you live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're right about some of the pitfalls of centralized exchanges. Like, they have their benefits with liquidity and ease of use, but we've seen exchanges get compromised and lose or release access to customers' KYC data, which is really not an
it's
ideal thing.
it's
Yeah, it's a
awful.
nightmare. Yeah,
It's literally awful. Yeah.
and then decentralized exchanges don't have those problems, but you're right that they lack liquidity sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the next question. What can you tell us about Orion's deeper liquidity feature, and any new and interesting features you see getting added to the protocol in the future?
So, I mean, well, the deeper liquidity. So this is what I said about Orion combining those different exchanges. So the real beauty about Orion is that there is no, just because we add more tokens, and we're adding more tokens all the time, the developers keep adding them. Exchanges can constantly be added to Orion. So recently we've just for our deeper liquidity, we've just added in like the biggest DEXs. So the biggest DEXs are now available to trade on Orion. And again, this is in one place. This isn't each of those individual exchanges plus the centralized exchanges, where lots of people would have to go to each one of those exchanges. All of them, so Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SpookySwap, QuickSwap, are all now integrated within Orion in one place. So the deeper liquidity is that for every different exchange that we add, and we've just added those officially, they've been sort of live for a while, but yeah, we put the official announcement out of maybe, I think it's about 3 weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago. And yeah, so we can just keep adding exchanges, which brings in more liquidity, which means the order book, what would be if it had hardly any liquidity, when people are buying, if they've got too much money for an order, they're getting a worse price because they're buying up their order and it's getting a worse price.
Yeah.
But with the more liquidity that Orion adds, it strengthens this order book. So someone comes in with a big order here, because there's that much liquidity there and it's deeper liquidity from all of these exchanges, it's very difficult for them to get a sort of poor price, because there's that much liquidity there. It's difficult to get a worse price, and that keeps going. So that sort of deeper liquidity keeps increasing for every different exchange that's added. So yeah, so the biggest ones, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SpookySwap, and QuickSwap were added, and then that's not just all in one place. That's combined with the centralized exchanges as well, and that's just in one order book. So you can see them on Orion down in the order book. They have the little icons, and you can see that Binance is there, KuCoin is there, OKX is there, Ascendex is there, in amongst, Uniswap or whatever happens to be in that particular pairing.
Right. Yeah. The more liquidity, the better, really, because you're
Absolutely. And it
minimizing
keeps getting added
slippage.
to. And that's it, slippage, yeah. So when I said about, obviously slippage is the price you actually end up paying. So you might see this price, but oh look, you've paid this price because your order has slipped,
Your
type
order is
thing. But
larger than the liquidity available, so you end up, yeah.
that's
So
spot on, yeah,
that's the whole benefit of combining multiple dexes and multiple centralized exchanges. So yeah,
absolutely.
that's makes a
And
lot
it's
of
in
sense.
one place. So rather than having to go through each of the, or if someone says, oh, but I've got Binance, I've got this. All right, then, well, you've just gone to 7 exchanges. You've had
Sending
to pay,
funds to
send in funds,
yeah.
withdrawal fees. It's a time. Look, it's ridiculous. You just go on Orion, connect your wallet, and they're not even to choose from. We don't have like, oh, you can use this one, you can use this. No, it's in the same order book. You're getting it all in that order book. It's first class.
It's maximizing the benefits of smart contracts, which really are interoperability and just ease of use, simplicity. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
And looking at your roadmap in the future, can you give us some details about your NFT marketplace and how you plan on integrating NFTs into Orion protocol?
So the NFT marketplace was something that the team have come up with the developers for a while, I guess. That will be coming, and again, it's a similar way. Rather than having to go to each of the different exchanges, constantly jumping from each, it's literally a one-stop shop for NFT trading. So it'll bring together all of the different marketplaces for NFTs, all within Orion. That won't be coming for a little bit yet because we've got other priorities ahead of it.
Right.
Excuse me, but but this is the beauty of what Orion can do. It quite simply aggregates. It combines different things. So and this is the problem with the industry as a whole. There's lots of people doing different things, but a lot of it is fragmented into different areas. So it's not in one place, and that detracts from user experience. It's just a waste of time to have all these separate entities there, kind of battling over which client uses this or whatever. Orion brings it all together, so you've got one place for the kind of the best trading areas are all in one place, and certainly with the trading, it's all in one order book. So yeah, the NFT.
You're doing for NFTs what you do for tokens with the current platform.
Exactly. So and again, this can be built out with lots of different things because again, Orion is a decentralized liquidity aggregate. It's not a DEX. Like some people refer to Orion as a DEX, but it's not a DEX because it's not. It's specifically a liquidity aggregator. It's aggregating things. So whether it's different exchange sources or whether hopefully when we get that sorted at the NFT marketplaces, it'll all be combined into the one place. So it really is like an ultimate one-stop shop for Web3, really.
It's a good way of putting it. Really minimizing the friction that can be involved in trading and all these different platforms. So,
Yep.
who would you say are Orion's target customers? Obviously, anyone who wants to pay a better price for their tokens or NFTs in the future. But is there anyone you're targeting in particular?
Well, I think one of the benefits for about Orion and the beauty of it is that it is for everyone. It's for a person who just wants to pick up some tokens for $20, $50. It's someone who has a larger order because the aggregator can handle the large orders because of the combined liquidity. Obviously, I said about the being globally accessible. So just because someone happens to have their house in a certain area, it doesn't mean we're going to say, oh, you can't use this. You can. You just literally from anywhere you like, connect your wallet. So a target customer could well be someone who is having problem. They want to access something depending on where they live, and yeah, on Orion it is not that issue. You just literally connect your wallet, and anyone can be trading aggregated liquidity type thing.
Yeah.
And of course, some other things. It could be people owning their own assets, so that especially with what's been happening recently, which I think we all know what it is. The thing is, with that type of thing, it's always been the issue that people should retain their own funds. People should have their own assets to themselves, and through Orion, that is a really great quality of Orion, that people can do that. When you interact with Orion, you just connect in your wallet. You retain your funds throughout the whole time, because the exchange is by secure smart contracts rather than handing your own funds over to a third party who will they be all right there? Well, why take the risk? It doesn't make sense. You should just retain your own funds, connect your wallet and trade. So that's for people who want to do that, then Orion is literally perfect place. And it's not even that, it's just they do retain their own funds. They have access to this aggregated liquidity, which is literally massive. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And when you have the opportunity to take custody of your own funds in such an easy way, there's no withdrawal fees or worrying about your account being locked, or if the exchange even has liquidity with decentralized platforms like Orion, because it's
exactly
built into the smart contracts.
Yeah, you don't know. Like I said, once you hand over, you're literally trusting a person or an entity. Well, it's an entity with your own funds. Based on what though? Based on, oh, I've seen them on TV. Oh, I've seen them on this. That can be stopped straight away. They could block. They could stop. Anything could happen. And it's a case of, but before you give them, if someone did that, that is always the case. So just think ahead. Don't do that, and retain your own funds. And just trade on Orion.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
you just literally connect your own wallet and trade, and then it's back. Then you've got it again. So you keep your private keys. If it goes onto a centralized exchange, they own your private keys. As much as, oh, I've seen them. My friend Terry said these are all right. Well, it doesn't matter who said it. It could be your gran. It doesn't matter.
It's a big risk to take. It's a big risk. You're trusting. You essentially get an IOU from the centralized exchange, and you hope that they pay out. But there really are no guarantees with anything except DeFi, which guarantees solvency and that you custody your tokens. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I just wanted to ask, so with everything that's been going on, how does this affect Orion protocol? How does Orion protocol address these issues? I know you integrate with centralized exchanges, so is there any risk to users, or is that mitigated in some way?
Again, it's the same thing. It's because it's based on secure smart contracts. It doesn't. Users don't have that issue. It's literally just connect the wallet and trade. That from a user's perspective, there's no problem. The trade either gets completed or it doesn't. So it's either in your kind of possession or it's not. So with everything that's happened, say recently, like Orion is quite literally the solution to those issues, because on Orion you're not sending anything to Orion, because Orion is decentralized. Orion doesn't hold any funds whatsoever.
Right.
It's non-custodial, so it's all done through smart contracts, secure smart contracts. So the issues which have arisen elsewhere, you know, that has always been there with centralized exchanges. Whereas now, Orion hasn't changed. Say before recent events, Orion hasn't changed in what it's doing. It's always decentralized. So whereas we're a solution now, we were a solution then as well. You know, Orion was a solution a year ago. Orion is a solution when when we first launched the terminal,
Right.
and we knew that. So whereas people, and it's awful that all that's happened, by the way. Whereas, you know, a lot of people are surprised and things, but what Orion is building was trying to negate that before, you know, long before. So it's always been there, that and we keep saying it, we keep saying it. That owning your own private keys when you're trading is really, really important. And in fact, we called it, but you might have seen on our Twitter and on our different social channels, safe sex. So you get the benefits of the big centralized liquidity, but you're not having to interact and give away data, you know, leave your tokens on another site or something. That's all kind of sorted out in the back end, and the user just gets to just trade and gets the benefit all of not just one of the top exchanges, but like an aggregation of many.
Makes a lot of sense. Safe, CEX, centralized exchanges. Yeah.
So I've got a list of them, by the way. You'll see. We've got quite a few.
One thing we've seen is DeFi just keep chugging along, even with all the market turmoil that's been happening earlier this year and recently. There's really no replacement for deterministic smart contracts that execute as planned. With no one can adjust their functioning after. There's no one to trust. Now, so obviously DeFi offers a lot of benefits, but what do you consider the main barriers to adoption being? Obviously, you're doing a lot of work to make liquidity much more available, but what challenges do you still see remaining?
I think from a general perspective with people, I think, you know, a lot of people might think, I think certainly a perception of DeFi is it's a bit more cumbersome. It's a bit, you know, how do you kind of use this? I think I'd prefer someone else in the know, like, you know, let's say as initially, I think most people will try a centralized exchange. So because maybe they have some, you know, the perception is that some more support will be there or something because they kind of own the funds, whereas really, you know, as we just said, when you give a centralized exchange your funds, they can quite literally kind of do what they want, really. But say on DeFi side, as I said, there's a lot of fragmentation across all the various markets. So Orion is a solution to that. So that's one of the barriers, that there's more and more individual things, but they are individual. So that in itself is a barrier. But again, Orion is trying to just keep combining them. And another barrier actually to DeFi, which is important to note, I guess, is that things like what can happen on centralized exchanges, in a way, paint a bad picture to the qualities of DeFi as well.
Absolutely.
So through as you said there, just transacting through secure smart contracts, you know, that could be solid. It could be, you know, just everything's running perfectly fine. Everything's normal. Everything's solid, as it has been on Orion. It's been really good. Wobbles like that for CeFi, so centralized finance, can paint a bad picture to the rest of the different projects of what everyone else is working on, as hard as we, you know, the team are working on them. So I think that can be a barrier, but it's also something where we can showcase how good, you know, as we do now. You know, we're talking about the benefits of using Orion, which is a decentralized liquidity aggregator. So I think that can be good. In fact, I saw a quote from Vitalik, I think was it yesterday, day before, and he was talking about strength of DeFi, and he was saying, I think you said make code simple and like make it strong, or,
Yes.
or something like that. I don't know if you saw that.
He also said, make sure you get audited, and formal verification, which is one of our specialities,
There
super
you go.
important. So let's actually move on to security. Why
Okay.
did Orion choose CertiK for your series of audits?
I've chatted to the devs, because obviously I'm not the dev, and first of all, like security is absolutely paramount with Orion. So as it's proved with obviously our top security score with CertiK, but you know the kind of the reputation that CertiK's got for top quality audits, and how in depth that you kind of the in-depth detail that you give to the different audits is first class, and it is industry standard. So you know that is the some of the main reasons, obviously, and it's great to see, you know, like the background of it, like you know, your founders, it's Columbia and Yale, is it the professors of?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Yeah, you know, like it's in a sort of, it's an accumulation of lots of different things, is why the team have gone with CertiK for the audit. It's a no-brainer, really, you know, and seeing the score come out as well as it has is, you know, it's kind of testament to the devs and Alexei himself. I mean, before, so Alexei is Orion CEO, and he works tremendously hard with the dev team on all the different integrations. But I mean, he was working before he got into blockchain. He was putting together sort of bank software for like big world banks, prior to blockchain, and then after then, he was chief architect for the Waves DEX. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So he's had some experience in the world of centralized finance and moving into DeFi as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, we definitely appreciate your kind words about CertiK. I'm not particularly technical myself, but I know we've got we got PhDs, we have Ivy League professors all working on the audits. So yeah,
And
very
obviously with Alexei's experience, he knows that, he's looked into that, and he's, you know, he's chosen to do that. So that, again, that's testament to both CertiK and the quality of Orion's
right. It's a great
sort of
endorsement
security. Yeah,
for your
security
work and for our work. So yeah, we're
approach.
happy to
Yeah.
be working with you, and I'm glad that your trust score reflects the work you've put into security. Let's move on quickly to a couple of audience question submissions.
Okay.
So how does the Orion governance structure work? Do token holders participate in the governance of the project? What are your plans for that?
So the governance, it's kind of built up for voting. So say to governance stake at the moment, it's kind of your votes are giving weight to the different pools that we have at the moment. But in general, the kind of governance vote will be, because ORN is a utility token, so it creates utility around the project. So any different decisions that have to be kind of made, that kind of governance element comes in through people voting for certain things on Orion.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, real utility for ORN holders there.
Yep.
And you've touched on this a little bit, but what's your take on the importance of decentralization? You've mentioned that, you know, holding your own keys is really the only way to be sure that that your assets are your own.
Yep.
How decentralized is Orion protocol, and what plans do you have to move towards further decentralization, if any?
So this is another community question.
It's a community question, yeah, from Telegram user Clad H16.
Thanks, Clad. Yeah, so the thing about Orion is as well, so with the decentralization, is that we're constantly building and constantly improving. So you know, there'll be more There'll be more voting for different things. There'll be more, kind of moving towards a sort of a DAO as we'd gone over before. And I think in general with Orion, if there's a way to improve it and to have certain sort of improved decentralized facility, then we'll try and incorporate that in some way. It's like with some of the things we've been building. Excuse me. Even though we've got plans to build, say, item C, if something comes around where we can they'd be better if we did item B, then the devs, because it makes more logical sense because it would improve C, then the devs have been going ahead and kind of building that. So that happened like with the bridge and the VOBs, the virtual order books that are on Orion, which sort of do like simple swaps and complex swaps. The devs have thought that was a great idea, and it was a kind of necessary part before bringing in a lot more of the exchanges. So we've kind of they've done that first. So there's a lot of that. So if there's more ways to help sort of improve the decentralization of Orion with all the different features that come in, then they kind of off and away doing that. And even if that means making something before something else, like that's been mentioned on our roadmap before. Like there's a lot of base things that the team are adding, so like new tokens or new exchanges, but they're going on anyway. But if the team can think of something else, which is this is much better, again they'll kind of do that. But we've explained it a number of times, but they put that as a priority to finish that other thing first, which may not have been on a roadmap.
Sure.
So
and things change so quickly in Web3 that sometimes you have to update your plans. You got to be flexible. You got to respond to the market. So that makes sense. But it's good to hear that you're keeping decentralization as one of the sort of core tenets of what you're doing. And anyone who looks at your page on the Security Leaderboard will see that you're actually rated pretty highly for decentralization compared to all other projects. So that's good to see as well. Good to see.
Yeah.
We'll go with one last question. So obviously markets are a little bit unstable right now. What's motivating you guys to keep building right now and keep prioritizing decentralization, security, and making Orion an even better protocol?
In general, I think, when people look at what's happening and the development of certain things, Orion's got a long-term vision and it's already in play. It's combining, it's all those different things, solving scalability, accessibility, custody, it's all those things. And it's a long-term building process. Whereas I think it in a lot of ways, it's certainly from my perspective and the team as well, this is a long-term process. So whereas just because they say the prices of a market, it's good, it's bad, and it's a kind of, it shouldn't be a reflection of that. It's not a reflection of that, because our project is building all the time, regardless of it's great, no it's not, it's great, it's not, like this all of the time. It doesn't make sense, because it needs to be you need to have a good vision. You shouldn't be reacting to those things. It's just, if the market's it's doing one thing, it's probably not as good as it seems. And just when it's down, it's probably not as bad as it seems.
Right.
But the whole process is, if you look from Bitcoin at the start, there is so much development, even though perception based on markets, because it's not based on projects, shouldn't reflect on the quality of building that the team are going ahead and doing.
Right. The price is all over the place, but the progress is up. And
exactly.
It's linear.
It's two separate things. I don't think a lot of the time people can't understand how that is different. You know, we're constantly building. Like, you know, there'll be some perception now will be different to a year ago and a year ago before that. But
and
really,
a year from now.
Exactly. So who, you know, it could be it could be anything. But over that time, Orion keeps building. Orion keeps building. Orion keeps building. It keeps getting better. So there's more and more improvement. There's more and more improvement. There's more exchanges on there. There's more liquidity. There's more tokens. It keeps just getting better and better. And rather than looking for, oh, this isn't working, or this is, you know, oh, this isn't doing so well. A lot of it is reflected, and people need to step back and realize that it's, you know, market prices does not reflect the quality of what is being built.
Right.
And it doesn't matter. So
and
it's you just keep building because they're temporary states. It's not a trait of the project. It's just temporary. And we, you know, the team kind of look past that to just constantly build quality things, and we keep adding to it.
Right.
And a lot of it,
fundamentals. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of it is noise. Like, oh no, it's great. No, it's great. Oh, it's bad. It's not. We just keep building, and it's the teething process of the whole industry. And as long as, you know, you're applying yourself and really trying to get the best out of the project, of what it is, there's all kinds that you know, it's just going to get so much better and better. Not for us, and we are actually adding to the industry as a whole because of those solutions the solutions we provide for the different problems of the industry.
It's good to hear you're still here, still building, and we look forward to seeing where you are a year from now and even beyond that. So that's about all we have time for today. Where can the audience find out more about Orion Protocol? Socials, your website?
Yeah, so we're on Twitter. We're on loads. Telegram news, Telegram, Twitter, Discord. We're on YouTube. That's a good place because we love putting lots of videos up. We got the trade.orionprotocol.io for the actual trading site, orionprotocol.io for the website, and we keep adding more and more things on. So people, you know, said, oh, we want to see this on a video. All right, we'll bring you more videos. So we've been adding more videos and things. So there's always lots of things that we're putting up in different education, different articles and talks. This is one of them.
Yeah.
There's plenty of different things.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Lots of content out there for people to learn more about Orion. So thank you, Andrew. Thank you for coming on today. Everybody, be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you all next time.
Thanks, everyone.